Hello, everybody, and welcome to a very special episode of Speed Gaming, because today we are going to talk about drug use. No, I'm just kidding. This is the SGDQ preview race of our Shantae and the Pirate's Curse. Pirate mode, any percent, no out of bounds, turbo edition. This is a race between tinahacks and JTNoriMaki. And these two runners are going to be the same two runners that will be racing this game together at Summer Games Done Quick 2018. So we get to see a little bit of a preview of how that match is going to go. And incidentally, I will probably be providing commentary on that same match, so really it's like we have transported you 2 months into the future, and all of you watching should donate $1.5 million, please. So it looks like things are still getting set up. JT might be having some technical issues. We'll see about that. Tinahacks, of course, is a pretty well-known speedrunner. She plays a whole bunch of games, and she has been a big boon to this community. She's gotten it some more visibility, and we're all very happy to have her here. And JTNoriMaki, he has become some consider basically the de facto community manager of the Shantae and the Pirate's Curse speedrunning community. So two very big figures here. So this is going to be an excellent, exciting race. Looks like they're going to be getting started any minute now. Though I should note, this is a little bit of an exhibition match. Basically, tinahacks, her opponent dropped out, but she still needs to put up a time for the purposes of seeding. And JTNoriMaki decided it would be a good idea to offer up himself as an opponent to give everyone an exciting race. And by the way, he was 100% correct. That is, in fact, a good idea. So it looks like this race is going to be starting just as soon as the stream delay catches up to us. Nearly there, it looks like. Thick tension fills the air. Oh, there we go. We are off. And so the run has started. So there's a little bit of a sync difference between the two players, but not a very big deal. So, as you heard me say, this is Pirate Mode, which is basically the New Game Plus version of this game. And so what that means is that Shantae is going to start with all 5 of the major pirate upgrades, one of which we're seeing right now is the ability to dash forward at incredibly high speeds. You can see JT, he is running into a lot of these guards. tinahacks is running into a couple of them. It does slow them down a little bit, but you can see there JT, he just picked up a pike ball. I'm going to start calling him Nori. Nori, he just picked up a pike ball, and that's something that is going to come in handy probably for either a later boss or a later just normal encounter. We'll see. But yeah, it's sort of these two, they're basically gambling on how much time they can waste versus how many item drops they can get for it. And it's unclear whenever we start how much it's going to actually benefit them. That's how RNG works, unfortunately. But looks like JT did get an item, so he's going to be just a tiny bit ahead in that regard. And he's not that far behind Tina time-wise, so they're going to be entering the Ammo Baron fight only about a few seconds displaced from each other. Ammo Baron! So this boss fight, he can be rather trolly. He looks like he is going to be trolling JT right now. What you don't want him to do is charge, which is exactly what's happening. You do not want this to happen. What you want instead is for him to fire a red cannonball, which Shantae can then whip back at the tank, giving her an opportunity to do damage. Boy, Tinahacks is getting incredibly trolled by this ammo baron. That is really unfortunate. In any case, what you want to see, ideally, is a red cannonball. A black cannonball is okay because once he starts firing black cannonballs, he's going to fire a red one before he starts charging again. So it basically means your wait is almost over. And look at the incredible sync between these two, getting out of the ammo baron fight at almost exactly the same time. Tinahacks appears to be somewhat displeased with her ammo baron RNG, and I certainly can't blame her. In any case, story's happening right now. Shantae fought the law, and the law won, and so now she's under house arrest for attacking the rightful owner of Scuttletown. So she's going to take the edge off by taking a bath in her trap tub. Why is it called the trap tub? Because it's a trap. She doesn't actually own a bathtub. And somehow nobody noticed Risky Boots dragging a bathtub through the streets, installing it in Shantae's house, and hooking up running water. In any case, what we're seeing right here is the first and only Cacklebat of the entire run. In a in a full good ending run, you're supposed to find and defeat all 20 of the Cacklebats that are spread throughout the land. But because this is any percent and we don't really care about seeing the good ending or the true final boss, we're just going to fight this one because the story requires it, and then we're never going to see another Cacklebat destroyed from here on out. JT has a very slight edge going into Scuttletown, plus he has that extra pike ball, and he's got a good deal more money as well. Again, this race, whoever wins this race, it is not going to change anything, but I am absolutely going to act as if it is, because that is more fun. So Nori here, up. Tina almost goes into the store, but then she goes to save. This is the game's only mandatory save. You are forced to save here because you will not be allowed to leave the starting area until you do. The runners can choose to save at other points, and it might be a good idea, because if you die, you go all the way back to your previous save, and that can take you from the very end of the run right to the very beginning if you're not careful. So it could be a good idea. Oh wow, Tinahacks, charging through these scarecrows, manages to pick up a super pike ball, which is an excellent drop. That's something that makes later bosses much easier to deal with. So that is very fortunate for her. She's got to be happy about that. So now, after a quick talk with the Squid Baron, we're heading into the sewers to show off one of the many non-out-of-bound glitches we'll be using throughout this run. Basically, this snake enemy here has a 50% chance of dropping one flesh pop, but if you get yourself wedged between the ceiling and the snake with your scimitar, you can kill the snake multiple times before it actually despawns, which potentially leads to multiple drops from a single enemy, which is super cool and a big time saver. And it looks like Tinahacks was able to get all 3 flesh pops she needed from the first 2 snakes. Nori, he got a little bit impatient and did not do the ceiling trick on the second snake, and he was forced to go elsewhere. But not a big deal. These two are still very, very close. Tinahacks is picking up the squid oil, which is a bit of a sequence break. It prevents some backtracking later. That's one of the many things that pirate mode allows us to do. You can pick up items that would otherwise be gated off, and you can advance through the story much more quickly with minimal backtracking necessary. So now some normal story stuff is going to be happening here as they charge through the Sequinland Palace. JT is holding on to about 50 gems here, so it is entirely possible that he will be able to do 2 shop wrap, which would be very interesting to see. Yeah, these 2 runners, As I understand it, they have fairly different routes in certain places, so I'm curious as to where exactly they're going to diverge. Oh, and here's one spot right here, Tinahacks. She is picking up some additional gems from underneath the ground. That takes her, wow, to 83 gems. That's a lot of gems to have. And Nori, he was able to pick up a little bit of time there, but now they're even. Tinahacks picks up a lobster tail. All food items are quite useful in this game, not just for health recovery, but also for animation skips, which hopefully we will see a few of later in the run. JT picking up a pike ball. I keep alternating between JT and Nori, and none of you can stop me. I would like to see you try. Also, always return things when you borrow them, because when you return the thing you borrow, you will get $100. It happens every single time. So Tinahacks, she's picking up some potions, some pirate flares. Oh, and she is foregoing the super pike ball. Usually you pick up several pirate flares and a super pike ball at this first shop, but because Tina was lucky enough to get a super pike ball drop, she can spend that extra money on potions instead, which will give her a lot of potential animation skips. And each one of those saves about 3 seconds. So that will add up to pretty nice time save, so well done to her. So now both runners are entering Saliva Island, so named for reasons that you will see later. Tina having a little bit of trouble with that one mermaid who can be quite the troll. So the first thing we're going to do on this island is we're going to ignore the story bit and this platforming section, and we're immediately going to go over here and talk to Twitch and Vinegar, because they have a ham, and we need to smell like ham for just a few minutes. So both Tina and Nori now smell like ham, so they're going to climb up the waterfall using the risky cannon, which bypasses a big, long platforming section. Ooh, JT trying to get a difficult animation skip and failing. Tinahacks also failed at getting it, but she failed a little less than JT did. Meanwhile, both of them, you saw them pausing several times in quick succession as they handed over the ham sting. We're not entirely sure why, but this does remove several seconds of a blinking animation, and ultimately speeds things up by several seconds. We don't know why it works, but we know it works, so we do it every time. So these two are now about 2 seconds apart. Both these runners at the top of their game executing wonderfully. JT right here, you can see him wandering back and forth, building up a charge. This is a trick known as the risky shuffle. Normally you have to walk in one direction for some time in order to build up a charge. But by using both the control stick and the D-pad together, you can trick the game into thinking that you're going in one direction when you're walking back and forth, and you can build up a dash even though you're just staying in one place. By the way, some story happened and some dude died. It's not a big deal. What you need to know now is that our two runners can now enter the Spittle Maze. And then they can immediately turn around and leave the Spittle Maze because they're going to enter a secret Easter egg dungeon. This was a fun little addition that the developers added, which basically mimics one of the dungeons from the original Game Boy Color Shantae. The reason they're here is for keys. Oh, you can see Tinahacks, she did successfully get an animation skip by using a potion when the key get animation would have played. And so the potion animation overrides the key animation and you save several seconds. Anyway, there are two reasons they're here. The first is to collect money, because they're always collecting money because shopping is very important. But the second reason is to pick up some of the keys that are scattered throughout this mini dungeon. Unlike The Legend of Zelda, if you pick up a key in Shantae and the Pirate's Curse, you can use it in any dungeon you like. And so they are picking up some quick keys here in order to save time by not doing a really long, slow dungeon later. So this cuts a very large amount of time out of the run. Tinahacks, oh, this is one place where the routes are going to diverge. Tinahacks is heading down here to pick up another spare key that will be used later on. And she is going to fight this wet man. It was a pretty quick fight, in all honesty. Getting to him is a little bit slower than what I suspect JT is going to be doing. Oh, and she fails the animation skip, unfortunately. Yeah, JT, he will be picking up the spare key that Tina just got in the next dungeon. And it's unclear whether he will benefit from it or not, but there is one very strong benefit to getting this key later, which we will discuss as we arrive there. So because of that route diversion, it will look like Tinahacks is a little bit behind, but it's not nearly as bad as it looks. JT has just entered the boss area, the boss arena. Sorry, I forgot the N. And he is going to face off against the Cyclops plant. Now, don't blink. Oops. Maybe you can blink once. Or twice. Alright, oh my goodness. I have not seen that before. Alright, so basically what he was trying to do there, and what he eventually succeeded at, was getting himself wedged between the ceiling and the boss to do large amounts of damage very fast. It did not quite work out the way he'd like, because he took a little bit of damage going in, and then something I've never seen, which is that the boss closed on him as he was using his scimitar, knocking him out of it. So that was quite a surprise to see. Tinahacks is able to get it much more quickly, so she's going to make up a lot of time here. Yep, and you can see that the second phase of the boss fight is close to the same as the first. It's the same tactic, which is just wedging yourself between the ceiling and the boss.
Oh yeah! I did it!
So she pulls it off quite nicely, gets a slightly quicker kill than JT did. So after the end of the second dungeon, the two runners are going to be a bit more caught up with each other, and then we'll have a better idea of who is ahead. See, is Tinahacks going to skip the map get animation? She is. That's another several seconds saved. That was a very lucky super pike ball drop that she allows her to pick up like 15 or so seconds across the run. Meanwhile, JT, he is entering Spiderweb Island, which is fine and partly trolly and partly very entertaining and slow at the same time somehow. So those ghosts he just ran past right there, they spawn in randomly-ish, and one of the worst things that can happen is that those ghosts can spawn like directly ahead of you where you can't avoid them, or they can even spawn on top of you, and that's a huge pain. So, and what's even worse is that if you get hit by a ghost as you're traveling upward, you get knocked all the way down, and you lose several seconds having to climb up through the room a second time. Luckily, it seems like both runners are having good ghost luck, as Nori enters the most infamous section of the speedrun, Run Roddy Tops. The HUD has disappeared. There's no money, there's no health. Imagine there's no heaven, it's easy if you try. Basically, the normal rules of Shantae no longer apply. You can't use your pirate mode stuff, and you can't actually take damage. So you can get hit as many times as you want here, even though you want to be hit 0 times. But, as JT just demonstrated, if you do get hit, you will be sent back to the beginning of whatever room you're in. And so he takes 1 damage to the gatekeeper, as we call him. And JT, he does a little bit of a back and forth there on that one platform. He was triggering the tongue enemy directly below, which causes him to drop his tongue down, and then you can get past him more quickly. Tinahacks experiencing a little bit of lag on her side. A bit unfortunate. With JT, he is running through the Super Mario World style spike pillars. Now this section of the run that JT is in right here is a little bit auto-scroller-ish, because there's really nothing you can do to speed it up. and there are so many frequent stops. But we are very nearly out of here. Tina is partway through the first room. And that's the final spikes we're going to be seeing for a while. So now JT is moving on to the next enemy, which is the tombstone crabs. Now there's a whole lot of tombstones here, and he appears to be jumping over some of them arbitrarily. Maybe not so arbitrarily. Basically, some of these tombstones can move. We know which ones are capable of moving, but we don't know which ones will actually get up, we don't know when, and we don't know which direction they'll face. And JT gets through there pretty quickly, and he gets in several... Ooh! Tinahacks, she takes a lick, unfortunately. But in the meantime, JT, he got several stake jumps. He jumps dangerously into a hand without taking damage. So his run has been officially validated by me, the Grand Validator. And so he is going to be able to move on with a successful run as he runs away from these kissy robots. Wanted to give Shantae and Roddy Tops a big old smooch with their big old kissy lips. But she is not into that. And so she runs away, and the kissy robots explode and are sadly rejected. Love is over. Looks like both of them are doing pretty well. They're both getting a little bit trolled by tongues, but otherwise they seem to be progressing just fine, as JT runs into the final enemy, the Stevens. So named because we needed a more family-friendly name for these little white creatures. And this room right here is the room that we call the Gates of Hell, because of those first 3 spikes. They were closed for him, unfortunately, so we had to wait it out a little bit longer than he would have liked. Gets a good taco jump over that Steven, though, as he enters the final room. And this final room can be really annoying, because for one thing, you get every enemy thrown at you at once, and for another thing, because the final stretch is really difficult, it is easy to take damage and get sent back to the beginning of this big, long 40-second room. And whenever you do that, it's a killer. Tinahacks, she is able to get through. The Gates of Hell are open for her. She's getting chased by a little Steven, but manages to make it without any trouble. While Nori is officially out of Run Run Roddy Tops, and so he's making his way to Roddy's house. Tinahacks doing just fine as she progresses through the final room. Hopefully she takes no damage at the end stretch. You can get very heavily trolled by tombstone crabs on your way out. That is the most common cause of death in this room. But nope, the tombstone crabs are friendly and she is out without any trouble. So good on her. JT, for his part, he is talking to Poe, Roddy Tops' brother, and he just gave him the squid oil that we picked up at the very beginning of the run, letting him fix this wagon, and they no longer have to do Run Run Roddy Tops ever again. And alright, it's time for the Shriveled Thing status report. It smells. This has been the Shriveled Thing status report. We'll check up with you in a minute or so for the next Shriveled Thing status report. As JT enters the second dungeon by handing over the Shriveled Thing that smells, he will be entering the Cackle Tower. And here the routes are going to diverge a little bit again because JT has to pick up an extra key that Tinahacks has already grabbed. Alright, time for the second Shriveled Thing status report. Oh, it also smells, as it turns out. For real though, that is one of the few unskippable text boxes in the game, and it's a very bizarre one to pick. We're not sure why that is an unskippable text box. Those are usually reserved for giving the player instructions on how to use a new item, so it's always pretty amusing. JT, he's grabbing his extra key. He gets a couple of pike balls on the way, and he uses one against this bat guy, who is a bit of a difficult enemy to fight, but if you're lucky, you can get... Oh! Nori, he breaks his Pirate Flare curse, and he picks up a super monster milk. That is an excellent drop to get. Oh, and Tina, she randomly gets a super pike ball from the skeletons. So both of them are having some nice drops here. And you can see their routes have converged, and they are now just seconds apart from each other. So now it will get a better idea of how far apart they are. Everyone in chat should congratulate JT on not getting a pirate flare. Please do that right now. As these two make their way up to the boss of the Cackle Tower, the Empress Spider, who we saw a little bit earlier torturing poor Roddy Tops. Tinahacks traveling upward through the room whose name I can't remember, but we have given it an official, very long, bureaucratic, and excessive name. Both of them having no trouble, just a couple seconds from each other. Very nicely done. And both players using a super pike ball. Because this is one of the... Oh my goodness, look at that sync right there. That's beautiful. Oh, it was beautiful until Nori's screen lagged a little bit. There we go. So, basically what you want to do with this boss is you want to get stuck in their hitbox to do huge amounts of damage. The way this works is that if you whip immediately after you jump, and then you take damage, you don't get knocked back, first of all. And second of all, your jumps replenish themselves. So you're able to basically jump infinitely and constantly do damage. Tinahacks wisely using a lobster tail instead of using her auto potion, because this is a very dangerous tactic because you have to take lots of damage in order for it to work. But both of them get through it without much trouble. JT has a slightly faster fight because he is really good at that fight. That's one of the things he's great at. But they are still only a few seconds apart right now. And they've both had some lucky drops. Nori has a super monster milk, Tina has a super pike ball. So we're going to see how that plays out as they each use a pirate flare to immediately leave this island and go directly back to the ship, which is a huge time saver. Using lots of pirate flares is absolutely vital if you want to get a good time. So next up, we have Tan Line Island, where hopefully we will be seeing a lot of lucky drops. There are many drop opportunities as I just invented now. First up are these little green cactus enemies who can drop a monster milk, as you saw there. That's a big help. And a bubble shield, which Tina just picked up. Thank you both for helping me explain. It's very generous of you. So a monster milk is useful against some of the bosses because it increases your damage, and the bubble shield is absolutely vital for the final boss, who can deal a huge amount of damage to you. Tina gets a little bit lost on her way forward, but she kills this Scorp gal and gets a super pike ball for her trouble, so that was a fortunate drop. These Scorp gals, they are some of the best enemies in the game because they are guaranteed to drop something, and that something is either 5 gems, a super pike ball, or a super monster milk. So oftentimes it can be useful to take a few seconds to try and kill one and bolster your inventory a little bit. So both of them are leaving Tan Line Island now. Nori has gone back to Scuttletown to meet and murder Sky's new boyfriend, which he just did. It was a very efficient and effective murder. Meanwhile, Tinahacks, she is going to Saliva Island first. Basically, the reason they're here is both of them need to find 3 sarcophagi, each of which contains a portion of the passcode to the next area of the game, Tan Line Temple. One of them is on Saliva Island, one of them is in Scuttletown, and one of them is back in Tan Line Island, but it is faster to get it later. So Tina, or I'll see if JT does the same thing. Yes, he did. You can see him whipping into the wall there, because there are pots hidden in the wall, and you can get a good 30 gems by doing that. And in fact, if you need a large amount of money, this is a good place to grind for it. So now, JT, he is going to go directly back to Tan Line Island, while Tina has to go to Scuttletown to do her ordering and get the second portion of the code. So JT is ahead by a little bit here because of Tina taking her time a little bit to try and kill a Scorp Gal. More drops, more drop opportunities arrive. Ooh, and JT, he gets a bubble shield too, so now he is set on bubble shields for the final boss. And so now we do the Skele Gauntlet. Alright, that did not work out as well as drop opportunities, but it's a gauntlet of skeleton enemies who you just charge through, and hopefully you get some good pike ball drops. They can drop a pike ball or a super pike ball. It looks like he got a handful of pike balls there, but he's hoping for some supers. There is one super pike ball. So that's a fortunate drop. We'll see if Tina has any better luck. Alright, lion, fish, lion. Chat, you need to remember this code. Lion, fish, lion. This is very important. Tina gets a handful of pike balls as well. And he picks up the enchanted blade. That also takes advantage of a small glitch, where if you're running past a chest, you can press B to open it. And you don't stop your charge, but you still open the chest. Tina picks up a super pike ball as well. Chaplain, for Pete's sake, we just went over this, but it's fine. JT doesn't need your help anymore. Thanks for nothing. Tinahacks, she got her own combination. As JT, he has just entered the Metal Gear Shantae portion of the run. So Shantae has now been stripped of all her items and her powers, and most of her clothes, and she now has to sneak by these incredibly nearsighted guards without getting caught. Because if she does get caught, she gets sent all the way back to the beginning of this section, and that can be a very massive time loss, up to a minute. Have the brain and attention span of a soap dish. It's okay, Chaplain Lamar, we forgive you for that. Oh no, JT! Oh, it looks like his jump input got unfortunately eaten. At the beginning of that section, you are supposed to do a small jump in order to jump over that guard if you want to do this section really fast. But it looks like the jump failed for one reason or another, and JT ended up getting caught. So this is going to even things out a lot. Tinahacks is very slightly ahead here, but she also has to pick up a key that Nori does not. So it's going to end up being pretty darn even between these two, I think. Oh no, JT, no. Oh, his jumps are getting eaten left and right. Ooh, this is really hard to watch. I wonder what is going on with his controller right now. That's really unfortunate. Oh, and he's mad. He's whipping mad. So Nori has a little bit of time that he needs to make up here as Tina makes her way through the final room. And you can see exactly how nearsighted all of these guards are. She should have been caught like 3 different times by now. But now she is out. And JT is also out. And so now these two, we are finally putting the coins we stockpiled to good use. Because even though Shantae was captured, all of her other friends got captured as well, in the span of about 30 minutes. And so we need to use the keys that we got from the previous dungeons to unlock these doors, because going through this area and getting its keys is incredibly slow, and we don't like doing it, so we don't. So Tinahacks does have, again, a little bit of a lead here. But it's not by much. This has been a close race all throughout. It's really been something to watch. So now Tina and the girls have opened the door leading out. Now we will confront the priest who captured them all because he mistook them for this princess who was just at the store for 30 minutes. And in that intervening 30 minutes, they successfully performed 4 kidnappings. And no, it never really occurred to them why they had 4 princesses. But whatever, they're done here, they got the golden pickaxe, and now they can move forward with the run. Fun fact, in any percent out of bounds, you can skip past that entire temple and all of that backtracking related to the codes. You can see right there what Tina just did. Basically, during this cutscene, JT is doing it now, you basically get a free pause because you're not allowed to move forward until the musical cue is over, but the musical cue doesn't stop while you're paused. So you can freely pause and look through the menu and get yourself set up for whatever you're going to do next. Yes, completely blind kidnappers. It is amazing. Basically, before you are allowed to work at Tanline Temple, you are required to fail a vision exam. Both of them killing a Scorpgal and getting a super pike ball, and entering the Lost Catacombs within seconds of each other. So now let's see how their routes diverge again. Tina is picking up some money. JT gets a really lucky Monster Milk drop as he dashes his way right through because he is going in here to get a key. Tina is not going through to get that key. She's going to be picking up a later key. And oh, there you go. That is one reason why you would want to get this key, because you can pretty quickly kill a Scorpgal, and you get a super Monster Milk for your troubles, if you're JT right now. Tina got a regular Monster Milk, which is also pretty nice, but it's much less super. Nope, but she gets her own super Monster Milk from the Scorpgals. So as far as item drops go, both of these two are sitting, you know, pretty nicely. Well, Tina unfortunately did not get the one cycle crusher skip. That's a pretty difficult trick to do. You have to time yourself very precisely. Oh, and it looks like she might be doing a 3 cycle here. JT, we're going to see him use the butt wiggle strat to try and bypass this crusher. Oh, and it looks like he might have gotten it. Did he? Yes, he did. Well done. Good job him. So Tinahacks is using a super pike ball and a super monster milk on the Squid Baron. JT will be doing the same thing. Basically, they want to get the Squid Baron into his second phase pretty quickly after a certain point. Squid Baron has a very set script that he works on. He'll do a dash attack, a jump attack, then a dash attack, and then he'll go into what we're about to see here, his eating phase. Yep, both of the runners got it without any problem. So if you crack open this guy right here... Oh, Tina got it even a little bit early. She got it before the second dash. But basically, this eating phase is an opportunity for lots of free damage. And so you want that to happen basically as soon as possible. Or more specifically, you don't want it to happen in the first phase, because you get much less free damage out of it. But both of them, they got the kill in no time at all. Very good Squid Baron fight from both of them. Tinahacks with a very slight lead going into the next part of the run. So that's another Pirate Flare for Tinahacks. You may not have noticed because it is not easy to see, but as she was selecting her items for the Squid Baron fight, she ended her menuing by moving the cursor to the Pirate Flare, which allows her to press the L and R buttons on the controller and immediately use it whenever she needs to next. So Tinahacks going to Scuttletown to hand over this fossil to Bolo, and some X-ray specs, which allows him to create the Death Mask. JT, for his part, he is doing a shopping trip. He's picking up some Pirate Flares and a Super Monster Milk. Looks like Tina is going to be... Nope, she's doing her shopping right now. Which is a little interesting. Usually it is... If you're going to do a shop at this point, it's usually faster to do it before you talk to Bolo, simply because of where Shantae is positioned as you enter Scuttletown. But it's not a big deal. It's a fraction of a second. So both of them got their shopping done, and they're both leaving Scuttletown, and Tinahacks is the first to make it onto Mudbog Island. Now, Mudbog Island, casually, is a huge pain, because there are lots of enemies, they do lots of damage, and it's just a real hassle to get through. But in pirate mode, if you know where to dash, where to jump, where to hover, you can get through it without any damage and barely even stopping at all. Tinahacks is having no problem, and I think she even got the momentumless boots. I was not paying attention, but I did not see her stop. So if someone in chat can fill me in as to what exactly happened there. I mean, neither of them having any trouble getting through Mudbog Island. Very well done to both of them. As Tina and JT are entering the Village of Lost Souls. It's a very dangerous place, filled with lots of painful enemies who do lots of damage. And so they're going to travel all across the Village of Lost Souls in order to pick up 3 sacred coins. Tina doing another animation skip here. She's got more potions. We'll probably be seeing plenty more of those. It's basically free time. Tina, run fast good. Guess that's what we're here for. So they're picking up the blue coin and the green coin and the red coin, which will allow them to turn into the Power Rangers to complete this section of the run. So look forward to that in a few minutes. Tinahacks making her way through a difficult room because the ghosts are back, and they are even more trolly than they were before. And she does take a little bit of damage going through the ghost room, unfortunately. But not too much. It's not going to be a big hassle, only taking half a heart of damage. JT also getting slightly trolled, but both of them are doing pretty fine. Going through here, another animation skip for Tina, and she now has all 3 power coins. She is racing off to fight Lord Zed as we speak. And JT gets his coins. As Tina, she picks up a few more gems from the pots that were... Oh, she is getting very heavily ghost trolled right now. Yeah, this is another room where it's easy to grind for money because of some hidden pots, and looks like she picked up 30 gems. Looks like JT is doing the same, so they both have more shopping on their mind. Anyway, I lied about the Power Rangers. Tinahacks is now using the 3 coins to play a very dangerous game of heads or tails. You basically have to guess correctly heads or tails 3 times in a row. Tina actually had some good luck getting lots of tails initially, because there's a failsafe built into the game, where if you fail it 3 times in a row, you automatically succeed on the 4th try. JT is not having the same luck that Tina did. He ended up with a heads tails, which is one of the sequences you do not want to see. So that took a little bit longer for JT than he would have liked. So that's unfortunate. Now Tinahacks has just talked to the manliest man in the Village of Lost Souls and got the manly musk. So now that she stinks, just smells absolutely terrible, she is going to be allowed into the Oubliette of Suffering, which is the 4th dungeon, and one of the most broken dungeons in the game. Basically, the whole dungeon is one giant platforming puzzle. There is one particular room in the dungeon where you have to go all around the dungeon in order to hit the correct switches to line up platforms to give yourself enough room to do a dash to let yourself get through to the final boss room. And so Tina just entered that room here. But by doing a risky shuffle, you can skip the entire puzzle of the dungeon and just go directly to the boss, which Tina is about to fight right now. So she's going in with a super pike ball and some kind of monster mill. So she is now fighting Dagron, who, he's trolling her just a little bit, and so this is a very dangerous spot to be in. Basically, you're supposed to hop into the air with the cannon and knock Dagron down in order to wail on him and do lots of damage, which he was able to do there. But where exactly he stops is somewhat random, and so it can be very painful trying to figure out exactly where you're supposed to jump in order to get the correct hit. But Tinahacks did not have too much trouble after the initial trolling. She was able to take him down in just over 2 cycles. Yeah, she's doing fine. And my apologies to Tina, you do not actually stink. It is just that manly musk. So Tina is done with the dungeon just as JT is finishing the boss. So Tina is given the Lost Soul. This mysterious soul will be of use to us in just a minute. But first, these two have to get out of the Village of Lost Souls. So because a pirate flare, which normally lets you warp directly to the docks, it only works if you're outside. And for some reason, the Village of Lost Souls is considered to be inside, so they have to escape. I mean, I guess it's entirely underground. I guess that counts. That's right, it could also be the shriveled thing. That thing also smells. JT having a bit of trouble getting out of the gamer room with his dash. That's unfortunate. So he's going to lose a little bit of time there, but not a whole lot. Tinahacks is now making her way to the final major island of the game, Frostbite Island. And so, yep, it looks like she is going to be hovering and jumping over all of these wolves. You can charge into the wolves if you are really desperately in need of items, because there's a very small chance they'll get some good drops. But if you're already having a good RNG, it's usually not worth the time. She has forsaken them. Ooh, it looks like we're getting a little bit of desync here. Fortunate is that just nope, there we go. We're caught up now. It looks like JT is also ignoring the wolves for the same reason. Both of them have had some pretty lucky drops, and they had some good shopping trips, so my guess is they both feel pretty confident about how they're going to be able to handle the last couple of bosses. So Tinahacks is a couple of rooms ahead as she ascends these chains to get to Propeller Town. This is another heavy platforming section, lots of running, jumping, and hovering over obstacles. I would also like to point out, curiously, that we started out on a frozen, snowy island, and we went up, and somehow things got warmer. That's a little bit mysterious. I'm pretty sure weather does not work that way. Go and Tina buffering a dash as she goes out of that room. There is an odd circumstance that can happen in some rooms where if you dash... Ooh, JT, he lands on spikes. That's unfortunate. If you dash through a transition from one room to another, there are certain rooms where your dash will be stopped dead as you go through. It is a little unclear why. It's like there's some tiny invisible wall. But if you basically buffer a dash, you get your dash ready to go and then walk through the transition, you can dash on the other side and keep with the fast going. So that is what Tina did right there. So Tina just has a couple more rooms to go until she is out of Propeller Town. And there we go. She's dropping in to check on Bolo, who has screwed up again. He's working for the bad guys, and he just gave... Ooh, JT, he tried a very difficult trick. Yeah, well, I mean, you can see clouds right there. They're still clouds. They're not above the clouds, because look at the clouds. I don't know, I guess they might be above the snow cover. That's a possibility, too. I am focusing on this too much. JT, he tried a very difficult trick that we just discovered called an auto potion jump. It's very dangerous to do because you lose your auto potion when you try it. And on top of that, you only have a window of about 2 to 3 frames to actually pull it off. I don't think I've seen it successfully done in a race yet. Meanwhile, Tinahacks, she has had to do some of the only backtracking we have in the game. She has to take that lost soul we got and give it to Abner, and she gets the Spirit of Joe, which is the same soul, but just with a funky fresh mustache instead. So she's done with that. And she's hanging... There we go. So now she's heading back to Scuttletown, because she has a little bit more business here. I think she's going to take another shopping trip. Maybe later, because she's sitting on a lot of gems for her to not go shopping. But she does have business over to the right. Turkey got it in one of his races. Good for him. Also, he's Turkey, so that doesn't surprise me too much. Also, the explanation of being up above the clouds makes a lot more sense than what I heard at SGDQ, which is that hot air rises. And that's just not how it works, guys. Anyway, tinahacks, she is now met up with this fellow here, who's going to transform into Chinese knockoff legally distinct He-Man, also known as Grandson, who is about to get hit by a nutbuster. So Turkey will be happy about that. Anyway, we had to go and talk to him so that Twitch and Vinegar would go back and do their jobs. That is step 1 of this 3-step fetch quest. The second step is to give the spirit of Joe back to the body of Joe and create Joe altogether. And so now he is rescued, and he's going to go back to work for the Ammo Baron. And the final step is handing over this targeting module, which Tina just did. So with all 3 parts of the fetch quest complete, the cannon misfires and it opens up the path to the abandoned factory. JT is about to go and save Joe, so he is, I want to say, like 30 seconds or so behind. Oh, there we go. Tina is now taking a shopping trip. She's buying Super Monster Milks. That's a good choice. That's a good thing to buy. So I don't know if JT is going to take a shopping trip, so that could make up a little bit of the time difference between the two. Both of whom are having really an excellent run. Not very many mistakes on either side, though JT did get very unfortunately caught in Tanline Temple. tinahacks drops into the final dungeon, and she does still have some potions that she can use for animation skips. She used right there. So she also has to pick up an extra key that JT did not. So the two are going to end up being a little bit closer than they appear to be right now. So this is an extremely close race, guys. Oh, and I think Tina ran out of potions, so she's going to be seeing the full key get animations now, as JT dashes through and catches up with her. tinahacks entering this final room. She's got to do a couple of risky shuffles in order to get the final key. Yep, and now these two, they are in the same room. We're going to see a bit of a high five. Yep, and Tina did skip another animation. So now she is going to walk into the the penultimate boss, the Steel Maggot. And this right here, this boss can really make or break a run. So the way that you deal damage to the Steel Maggot is that you have to hit the 3 buttons on his back in the correct order. Oh wow, Tina getting extremely lucky with her first cycle. The buttons were in the ideal order, just 1, 2, 3. JT, maybe? Oh my goodness, both of them getting 1, 2, 3s right out of the gate. Well done. Oh, but Tina is getting much more trolled on the second sequence. But eventually grabbing it. That's good. And I think this is going to be an easy 2 cycle. And it was. Wow, seems like these two are getting basic. Oh no! JT got pretty much the worst luck you could possibly get for his second phase. That's unfortunate. So he is going to take just a little bit longer to get out of this boss room. But he also has no trouble getting the 2 cycle. Very quick fights from both of them. Well done. These two are on excellent pace. Probably going to be seeing 54, 55 times from the 2 of them. tinahacks, she has an extra Pyro Flare that she can use to get out of here. And so Tina is now going to go to the final island, which is really just a story island, the Lonely Grave. Oh, and JT also has a Pyro Flare. I shouldn't say it's an extra Pyro Flare, because apparently everyone picks it up but me. Tina does a slow dash into this final room, where they accidentally awaken the greatest evil that Sequin Land has ever known, the Pirate Master. So now he's off to take over Scuttletown and takes its face back. JT also swaggingly doing the slow dash into the room. So now you can see Scuttletown. Now it's been better. It's not doing so hot right now. So all that is left for Tina is to dash through to the Pirate Master's Palace, formerly known as the Sequin Land Palace, and then she has to do the climb, and then she will fight the final boss. So the climb, what is the climb? The climb is basically, in the Pirate Master's Palace, you have to climb up a tall tower, and as you're climbing up the tower, you have to go through several really annoying and difficult challenge rooms that none of us really like doing because they're very difficult and very slow. And so we very quickly determined a much quicker way of going through. Speaking of quickly going through, JT going over the large, tall rock formation instead of going through. So you can see what Tina is trying to do here. You can use a combination of the hat and the cannon to make your way up the Pirate Master's Tower, just barely getting enough height to skip the challenge rooms. Whenever you use the hat, you get just a few pixels of extra height. Tinahacks had a little bit of trouble on the first one, and my stream is just a little bit frozen right now, unfortunately. We're seeing a little bit of lag from the two of these players. Let's refresh this page, see if we can get anything better. Oh, there we go. Yes, finally. Sorry about that. Finally, my vision came back, and it looks like Tina has a very small lead going into the Pirate Master fight. And so she is going all out with Super Monster Milk and a Super Pike Ball, and JT is doing the same. And this is where they use that bubble shield, because those bullets will do your entire health bar's worth of damage in a single hit, and they're extremely hard to avoid. And so, yeah, you're going to want to avoid them. And Tina making judicious use of her auto potion in order to do more damage to the Pirate Master. And there we go. She is all finished with her run. She gets an official time of 54:40. And JT finishes just behind with an official time of 54:51. What an incredibly close race. Well done from the both of them. That was excellent. Very well done. Congratulations to both runners. Congratulations to Tina for winning the race and setting a great time. And it looks like both of them are in the setup room, so let's get both of them in here right now. JT, Tina, well done on an excellent race from both of you. Very well done.
I cannot believe how close that was.
Yeah, no kidding. That was super, super close.
That was ridiculous.
I can't wait to go back and watch the VOD.
Yeah, it's a great VOD. You guys are switching back and forth for a very good portion of the run. Then you end up so close. Well done. Tinahacks, congratulations on winning the race and on setting a respectable time. What did you think of that run?
Plenty of things that I would have changed. Lots of mistakes. I'm still having some, and I know that it is a poor craftsman that blames their tools. But I've been having some problems with my monitor. I've got about a second of lag, which might have been real obvious if you were watching my Run Roddy Tops. Not great. But hey, I got momentumless boots, so I can't say anything bad about this run.
Oh, I was wondering, because I was not looking away, but I thought, wow, Tina got through that room extremely fast. So that was momentumless boots. Well done. All right, JT, thoughts on your particular run? How do you feel about that?
Well, it's probably the longest run I put up in the tournament. Fortunately, it doesn't really matter. I mean, this was an easy win for Tina, no matter what the result was. But just wanted to put on a good race, and I'm going to put out there for the record that it's extremely hard to speed run when a smoke alarm is beeping somewhere within your apartment and going throughout the entire run. So that distracted me quite a bit.
Oh no!
Yeah, the RNG of this seed was I wasn't paying attention apparently because I didn't think I had that many regular monster milks. I think I was so focused on supers I wasn't paying attention. So I wasted time doing a little extra shopping and going a little out of my way for things. I thought, okay, well, I know I grabbed some extra gems I didn't even end up using. So it's like minor things. And then that perfectly timed beep got me caught in 10 Line Temple, which is pretty dang funny.
That was a harsh thing to see, especially after the race ended up so close.
Yeah, it's like, just these little minor things that did actually cost me kind of beating Tina here, but I really just wanted to put on a good show. I mean, that's really what I came out to do, and I think this is a good preview of what we'll see from SGDQ.
I think you were right, and if your intention was to put on a good show, let me tell you, you succeeded with flying colors, so well done. All right, so this is going to be. I think this is going to be a very exciting SGDQ. Do either of you have plans for particular practice or preparation for that much more well-watched run in a couple months from now?
Any practice at all. I've been focusing on. I'm also in the Link to the Past tournament, so I've been focusing on that because I've never played that game up until 2 months ago. But we're getting pretty close to the point where I'm going to shift gears and actually start playing this game outside of tournament matches.
So just a small humble brag from Tina. She just sort of plays this game. She makes her way.
Well,
through
no. I spent a good 7 months playing this game exclusively.
No, I am absolutely giving you crap. You've put a lot of work into this game, and it shows because you've been doing very well. I'm just ripping you. So.
No, I hear you.
All right. Well done. JT, do you have any plans for preparation for SGDQ?
Yeah, I definitely want to just get a little bit more being intuitive with the run and really paying closer attention to the RNG and what I'm getting and what I can get away with. But unfortunately, right now, my main focus has to be work. I took a little bit of time out of what I was working on today to help out Tina here. And now I've got to get back to it. So... after this coming week, then I can probably put more time back into it and really kind of get there. I've still got my own personal goals I'm going to be really grinding for, which is really an RNG fest at this point. So, I definitely will be preparing. I know if Tina's going to be preparing, I have to stay prepared. That way I could just keep up with her massively increased speed in this game.
Mm-hmm. She has been improving quite a bit. It's great to see. So, we'll probably let you go here. Do you have any final thoughts, JT?
I don't. I just hope everyone has enjoyed everything that they've seen from the tournament up to this point. It's been a lot of fun putting this together and getting the community together and working together to make this the success it is. And after today, the group stages are over, so we'll all look forward to those brackets and see how far we all can get. For that valuable prize that one of my community friends and part of the friend of the community has put together. So, looking forward to facing everybody and seeing how it all shakes out.
All right, excellent. Tina, any final thoughts?
Just to echo what Nori said, I really hope that everybody's enjoyed watching the races. And also, thank you, Nori, for taking time out. I know that you've been super busy to get this race scheduled. And Sound Defense, thank you so much for doing commentary. And of course, thank you to Speed Gaming for hosting these races.
Yes, of course. No problem. So thank you both for running a great race. JT, go find and fix your smoke alarm.
Yes.
Yeah, that's distracting here.
If you can hear it, that's how bad you can imagine on my end. And
it's
terrible.
Really loud, dude.
Yeah, I don't know which one it is, and I've got to figure out which one it is.
Or you should be deaf. One of those two things.
Well, fortunately, my earphones, they tend to do some, sound deafening, but you can't sound deafen a smoke alarm, so.
No, you can't. All right, well, yes, thank you both for the race and for coming here afterwards. Thank you, everybody, for watching, and if you enjoy watching Speed Gaming, please consider supporting them. You can do direct donations, you can subscribe on Twitch, you can shop on Amazon with their referral link, or you can even donate to their Patreon. So please give them some support if you can. Please follow our great runners. You could maybe follow me, but it's probably not going to be very interesting. So
You should definitely follow the sound defense.
You should totally follow the sound effect.
All right. Well, thank you both for the recommendation. Yeah. Thanks everyone for tuning in. This is the end of the group stage. The bracket stage of this tournament is going to start next week. So please stay tuned in for more great Shantae races. Thank you everyone for watching, and we will see you guys next time.
Thanks everyone.